Tips for getting accepted. Getting accepted is obviously it's really important because if you don't get in, then you can't be doing this. So just a few things to keep in mind. Once you go ahead and submit your application, you're going to get a message saying that an affiliate manager will, in almost all cases, saying that an affiliate manager will get in touch with you sometime over the next couple days. One thing that really helps is that when they call, you answer the phone, because if you don't answer the phone, then they're going to wonder why you're not answering the phone. Of course, you have to keep in mind these people, they deal with fraud every single day, unfortunately. So you really got to make sure that you are transparent to them, that you don't have anything to hide, and of course also that you're a go-getter. So one thing you can do to solve this problem is to call the network yourself. Just say, hey, listen, didn't want to wait for the call. I am excited to get this going and wanted to see what I could do to speed up that process. Trust me, it helps separate you from the others out there. Be relaxed. Even if you haven't done this before, there's no reason to get yourself all worried, because guess what? If you don't get accepted by this network, you'll just try another. There are literally a couple hundred out there. So it's not a big deal. And if you don't get accepted and you say to yourself, oh no, but you know what, you said that was the best one, you know what, it's okay, because a couple months later you can reapply. You're not being shut down forever. In fact, they encourage you to reapply in the future, especially after your situation has changed. So just be relaxed. It's not all riding on this. It's not a big deal. Have a website to show them. If you don't have a website, think about acquiring one. You're more than welcome to go ahead and try this without having a website. But it does hurt you if you don't have one. In the next video, I'm going to talk about finding one for a very low cost. Of course, that being said, you don't want to pick up a site that's terrible, or if you have a site that's not so good, I wouldn't even bother showing that to them, because that's going to paint you in a negative light. You want to remember that whatever you show them needs to look professional, so you can display to them that you know what you're doing. And it would be great if your site was already had advertising set up that was done so in a thoughtful manner, so they understand, hey, you know what, this person does have a handle on how all this works. Talking about driving traffic with pay-per-click is a big help. Again, if you go on there, even though one of the big things that I'm going to tell you in a later video is that article marketing is a great way to test CPA offers, especially when you're first starting out, I would not call them up and say that with my opening line, because article marketing, even though it does work, it doesn't cost you anything. It's not going to produce real big results, the big results that of course they want to see. So whereas pay-per-click, if you find something that works, you can literally be making hundreds of thousands of dollars a day, just because let's say that you're bidding on a term that gets a lot of traffic. There's a lot of money that can be spent and a lot of money that can be made. So when people hear that you're doing pay-per-click, I think that it conveys to them that you're serious about this, that you're not afraid to spend money. Even if you don't really want to spend money, that's totally okay. Once you're accepted to the network, they're not going to kick you to the curb because you haven't made any money in a couple months. That certainly never happened to me. So it's good to present yourself moving forward that you are willing to do this, even though later I'm going to openly tell you, pay-per-click is not the best thing to start off with. I would suggest doing some free methods first, and once you get this down, then you can start investing money. Frame what experience you have in the best manner possible. This is also important. If you just started internet marketing yesterday, well, I wouldn't point that out to them. I would look into my own life for other areas that are relatable. Maybe you work in the business field, so you could share that. Perhaps you've done some type of thing to really dedicate yourself to being a success in the internet. Share that. Just whatever you've done, even if it wasn't the most successful, just put a positive spin on it and really emphasize the positives. I guess this is kind of like a job interview, because it is, because they have limited spots in their network, and they aren't going to approve somebody that they think isn't going to make them any money. So you need to show them that you're here, that you're dedicated, that you're ready to get this rolling. Be flexible. I would also suggest this. Don't go in there saying, I'm just going to be promoting this health offer or this loan offer. I try to keep it an open door and say, I look forward to finding out more about your network and what offers are the best converting, and then exploring building sites around those offers. I want to show them that I'm not just going to jump in and try one thing and that's it. I am willing to, try a couple different things, and if one thing doesn't fit the way that I think it will, then you know what? I'm going to pick myself up. I'm going to try something else. It's going to, because they realize that this is not a get rich quick thing. It's going to take effort, and if they see that you're willing to take that effort, that's going to be a big star for you.